seats completely in the wrong place tonight, but I'll try and work it out during the course of the show. Thanks for joining us today. We had massive technical issues on Sunday, so we had that in the show with us. So unfortunately, blondes and technology, we don't know how that works out. But good evening, welcome to Emily Webley-Smith.
Thank you very much.
And as always,
hi guys, how you doing?
Chris Eaton. Emily, professional tennis, professional WTA player.
Oh, gonna get slated tonight.
It's slated, but I mean, you play a game that we sometimes use the same equipment. Rackets, balls, that sort of thing.
Apart from at touch tennis when we play the same game.
I was talking about men's tennis.
Oh, really?
Like the proper game, lawn tennis, gentlemen, put the ball back on the court. No? Doesn't ring any bells for that. Wimbledon, second round, 2004.
Yes.
Amy Frazier.
Yes.
You had a match point.
No. Not a match point, but I was up a break in the third, and that one hurt a lot.
Did it? How much did it?
A great deal.
Was it degrading?
It was not degrading in any way.
And tell me about what you actually did at that point.
I hit a drop shot, if I remember right.
And I bagged Emily, let's just go back a bit. She asked to play doubles with her, touch tennis at the All England this year, and this year I chose to play with Chris instead because I wanted to win the point.
Oh.
It was funny actually, I said to Emily earlier on when we were prepping up.
In general conversation, I
said, if you played the All England, you would have won loads of points and done. That just killed her. Because I completely forgot. That was when I was like, I can't be asked to play with you. But you at touch tennis have played me twice and you've lost both times. One of those times you tried a drop shot, you were 2 sets to love up, and I won 11 straight games.
So you tried the drop shot?
Yeah, no,
you tried
to play a drop shot back, and you lost the point.
So should I learn from that?
Yeah.
Andy Murray doesn't his drop shots.
Yeah, I know, but he's not number one in the world, is he?
He's pretty close to me.
He's not. There's a huge difference. And also, just for the record, touch tennis that we're talking about, just for a second before we move back to tennis. Chris sometimes harps on about my lack of records and, they may be made up. Some people have been known to say things, ridiculous things like, maybe you weren't actually as great. You say you were. Well, he was playing one of my daughters on Sunday in a coaching session, and she hit 2 clean winners past him in the first 3 minutes. Did she or did she not?
Yes, yeah. I mean, obviously she, no little secrets about you. I do happen to know that you've played
There's a technical fault here. Sorry, you can't hear us right now.
I do know that you happen to have played against your wife, Sarah, and she's beaten you. So obviously,
sorry, there's a problem with the camera right now. I'm just going to wear this for the show to comfort myself because it just says the guy puts all the matches, There's nothing really else I can say about that. It's just I am. What can I say? I am still all time. I did dominate for 5 years. Fed, I have a message for you if you're watching. I've heard rumours watching our show.
Yeah,
I think you might.
No one cares about these tin pot $1 million. People remember you for your slams, just like me. They remember me for my 20 majors. 5 season-ending marks I won on the trot. You're never going to beat that record anyway. You'd be 36 by the time. Well, I was that age, but I'm different. I have those natural gifts, and I shouldn't really take credit for. I haven't. So forget about it. Djokovic choked up. What did you match, Emily?
I felt that Djokovic didn't deserve to win the first set, and I did. And he has got himself out of trouble so many times this year by doing that. I just wanted Fed to win. I'm sure he'll survive.
Yeah.
As you have from losing in a few slams.
Yeah, exactly. They don't need much anymore from that.
Well, the way I saw it was the way, unfortunately, it seems to unfold a lot with the Federer-Djokovic battles. You watch it and you think, wow, Federer's just a player. He's doing more with the ball. He's being more aggressive, and he just doesn't get the win. And I think, to be honest, the biggest thing you can take from that is how Djokovic is. I mean, like Emily said, he wins. You watch matches and he wins matches he probably shouldn't. Match points down, never gives up, and it's something I've said for a while is that I genuinely think that Federer is the best tennis player, but he's certainly not in the top 3 of being mentally strong and mentally a good match player.
Djokovic is the
But
best.
who would you put in the top 3 then?
Well, I think Djokovic, Murray, and Nadal.
But he just crushed Murray. I mean, he wiped the floor.
Because he's a better player.
But
that's the thing. You look at Wimbledon this year. He was crushing Murray in the first set.
yeah,
Suddenly it got to, I think, 4-all or 5-4 when Andy got a break.
yeah,
You know, and Federer was all over. As soon as it gets tight,
yeah.
that's when these guys have their chances. And it's similar sort of, you know, Federer plays the better tennis, but it is high risk.
Yeah.
What he does, his racket has to be so fast, and that's what comes. You know, he has to be hitting the ball and timing the ball perfectly for, you know, tiny little half millisecond of doubt to get into his racket, and that seems to be what happens.
Simon Reed said, I was speaking to him a couple of years, said back then, in fact, Federer by far is the greatest maker of all time, but he's not necessarily the greatest match player of all time.
No, I completely agree with that.
And that's the thing that, you know, I'm a massive Federer fan, possibly because like Sampras was a fan of his as well, you know, again, similarities, but I love the elegance he brings to a court, and I love the flair and the style of play that he has that is somewhat unique, horrid grinfest of a sport now that we're witnessing. But I think with his particular brand of tennis, if I had to put my line, I'd hand it to Rafa. Maybe Djokovic second, because I think that Rafa actually is mentally tougher than
I'd hand it to
Djokovic.
Rafa.
Because because he turned Rafa into his bunny for the whole of 2011, and didn't lay down to that, and came back and beat him again and again this year. I think that really does immense character.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at it, and it's something that I've a few guys that I'm trying to help out at the moment. Is, you know, it puts it all into context. You think when you compare Nadal and Federer,
Yeah.
and you say, okay, which shots would I rather have? And you see, you know, serve, you'd take Rogers. Forehand, it's fairly close. You know, you can go either way, but you certainly wouldn't, you know, die for Rafa's. Backhand, you'd take Rogers. Slice, you'd take Rogers. Volleys, you'd take Rogers. Movement, you know, they're both very quick. Rogers more efficient.
Yeah.
You'd probably take Rogers. So,
Yeah.
you know, in all the tennis playing aspects of the game, you know, Federer's got the edge in all of them.
Yeah.
So
the
that
top trumps with Federer.
Yeah.
You'd all Federer.
exactly, but that goes to show,
Yeah.
you know, not only that Nadal is mentally probably better and stronger and tougher, but by how much.
Yeah.
You know, so that kind of maybe puts it into a little bit of context for you guys out there to sort of realise how tough Nadal is, and you probably do a similar thing with Djokovic, although Djokovic probably has a better back than Roger topspin.
Yeah, I would go along
More
with that.
solid.
I'd say the variety he has is a great deal more than Djokovic has, and Murray has a better slice than Djokovic.
Yeah.
In fact, we go with. Nah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
They're
Murray,
very similar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's not
Those
much
two-handers are very.
And I would bank on Djokovic because he has the ability, I feel, to top the line more often. Maybe it's a confidence thing, or maybe it's, as you said, the spin he puts on it that doesn't
I
drop
think
it.
Andy has more variety.
Yeah.
Djokovic's backhand is perhaps more solid.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Because Andy's is more,
Andy
his is
can
more
flip it across,
handsy.
can
Yeah.
slice, can do
Yeah.
anything he wants with it.
We got a tweet in. It'd be interesting to find out if this is from let's have a look. We got one from Richard Enderby. Yeah. And this is to Chris and Emily. How do you put up with spending so much time with you? And he's added a little footnote. Do I win a prize? But I'm round here any time when it's dark, and I'll give you your prize. That little alley to the side. We'll meet there. Yeah?
I think it definitely deserves a prize. Best question we've had so
Yeah.
far at the tennis show.
I think maybe I've got a cigarette that I put out a little earlier on. I'll send you that. How about that? Prize. But Emily, what have you been doing this year so far? You've I know you've had some big troubles.
Yes, very much.
What are you doing now? I mean, is the season come to an end now? Time to chill out and do
No.
the glamorous thing?
Clearly not. I'm heading to Japan for a 75,000
Right.
and then to Dubai.
Flying first class?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's how all tennis players roll,
Flatbed
right?
travel, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Perfect. And then 5 in Dubai, followed by a 50 in Turkey a couple of weeks later, just before Christmas.
You've seen Midnight Express?
No.
Okay, you might think twice about going to Turkey, but hey, I don't want to say anything about it.
I think
the year.
Oh, for me, no. I'm doing some coaching, doing some work down in Weybridge for WTA, which is there. Yeah, I'm working with some really gifted youngsters.
Actually money.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, funnily enough, doing a day's work and actually getting paid for it, which is a strange concept.
I want to get
Strange
this
concept for us
kid
tennis
Ravi you
players.
were telling me about on the show at some point.
Yeah, Ravi is a very amusing individual. He's part of my St George's Hill squad.
Yeah.
And no, he knows how to have some fun and how to have a good time. But to be honest, I think it's quite important for you guys to know that, again, you've probably heard Emily say to all these exotic places, and I think it's fair to actually say what it's really going to be like, because so far these viewers that you're going to Dubai and Turkey and these sort of places which are holiday destinations, and you're probably thinking, wow, this is the life. So maybe give them a little insight into what it's actually going to be like.
Thursday I will fly 7 hours to Dubai, 2-hour changeover, and 8
Duty
hours.
free? Not that I'm angry for anything.
That's on the way back. I've got it sorted on the way back. 8 hours to Osaka,
Okay.
and then I have to get 4 trains in Osaka to get to where the tournament is, which is in Toyota. There's a men's challenger there as well, which generally we get treated better by the facilities and by the hotel and everything like that, but marginally. And I have to play
Sounds
around.
like a bit of a complaint there, as if.
There's a minor complaint there.
Why?
Because if there's a guys tournament at the same place as us, we get better transport, the hotel is better, guys won't put up with it if it's as bad as what it normally is for us.
So you're saying if the girls are tougher than the guys, that would be
Theirs is a 35 plus H and ours is a 75 plus H, and you can guarantee they will have better hospitality than we will have.
So let's get this straight. Women are getting more prize money than at these tournaments.
This particular
but
one.
they're still complaining. They never stop. It never ends. It's not even the prize money. It's going to be they want men to grunt as loud as them, because otherwise it won't be fair.
I don't complain about prize money.
Do you have an opinion on prize money?
I have a strong opinion on prize money. I think that when we play best of 3 and when men play best of 3, we should get paid absolutely the same.
Yeah.
But when the guys play best of 5, there is no chance that we should get paid the same as they.
What do you think?
Um,
Do you think they should get paid at all? Because
well, I certainly won't agree with that comment, but no, I think it should be done differently. I don't think it should be done about who plays more or whatever, because I don't think there's no market for 5 sets in women's tennis. Nobody, the golfing standard between the top 5, 10 and the girls that they would play at the beginning of Grand Slams, those matches fairly quick. I actually think it should be done due to revenue of the tournament, who brings in the
gate
most.
receipts. Whoever gets the more
Gate
front
receipts, but no, because I think most make their money on how much they sell TV rights.
Okay.
So, for example, if Wimbledon pay 100 million or BBC 100 million to buy the rights to Wimbledon, and that's where the prize money comes from.
Yeah.
If Wimbledon have paid 50% for men and 50% for women, then women you get
But it doesn't, because that's not generally where the prize money comes from.
half of that. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. And if women have if there's a tournament in Japan for the women and WTA, and there's a tournament in let's say China for the men,
Yeah.
the TV rights are that the men get loads and they're getting more money through the gate. Then I think it should just be done to however much the tournament can afford.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. If the women are getting huge TV rights,
Well, I disagree.
more through the door, then
I think
potentially they should earn more.
I think at those tournaments, I think the appearance fee should change according to how many people want to watch that player. But in
Okay.
terms of the preparation that the players have put in to go 3 sets or to go 5 sets. The preparation is the same, but how you need to prepare for that sort of event. However, for a 5-set match, that's why I'm saying that the guys have to put so much more effort in to prepare for that. There are many girls across the board that could play back-to-back 5-set matches throughout a Grand Slam.
Steffi Graf played Monica Seles, and after that match, it was Madison's 25 sets, both of them went to hospital. And Monica Seles said, ever make the season-ending finale 5 sets again, I will never play it.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but that's also because they're not used to playing 5 sets. You can adapt, but there are, in terms of over the course of 2 weeks, the recovery, that how the guys recover from a 5-set match, another one, even with a day in between, or perhaps not if it's rained, is phenomenal. And for that's why I think they should get paid more at Grand Slams.
No, not because it's just boring. I mean, let's be honest, the only time I've watched women's tennis in the last 2 years is actually come and see matches.
And how many times have you sat down and watched the whole of a 5-set match?
Several. Well, actually,
You are talking to the biggest tennis geek in the world.
Yeah, I switch off after a set and I'd like to come back at the one when it starts getting interesting. Or I'll go and do something else and have it on.
I don't know, your opinions here, you know, if you're watching now, right now, your opinions are what count. If you want to call in, the number's 0866 445 998. That's 07866 445 998. If you want to call in, you want to air your opinions, you want to ask a question maybe or of Chris about this subject. I mean, it's been thrashed around for ages. Personally, my favourite slogan was one I heard from a friend, the WGA, better than no tennis at all. I'll tell you, because I will switch off most of the time unless it's something interesting. Now, when Sarah Iran was in the finals of the French, I watched it. Because I love what she was doing, the hard court, I had to sound off because I find it offensive how they wail and shot through flesh.
I can totally understand that. But for the majority of those players who are like they've done that from a young age, and it does actually help physically with the timing and with relax as you hit the ball.
Yeah.
But it does make you not want to watch. Having said that, if there were more people like Irani with the variety and the tenacity that she brings, I think that's good for the tennis.
No, I completely agree. The same about the men's game.
What?
They're
Waiting like they've been shot.
No, that there aren't really enough people bringing something different to the court.
Right.
And we've touched on it before. It's probably to do with the speed of the court and the speed of the balls.
We miss Sacking.
It's very, very.
No,
we're talking about tennis. We're about tennis.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult at the moment with the conditions. These guys have to be effective at any other way than basically bludgeoning the ball and being a physical machine.
I've been watching tennis since I was forced on me since I was 5 or 6 years old. Hang on, we've got to take this call. Hold on a second. This looks like I'm calling from Kent. Is that Mr. Elliot Seabrook? Okay, Elliot, I'm just going to have to move the mic so everyone can hear you. Hang on just 1 second. Let's just see if it's over to us. Right, Elliot, I want you to just say something. We just want to test the mic, see if it can pick you up.
Good evening.
Perfect, we can hear you. Speak up a little bit if you can, yeah?
Okay, well, good. How's it going, guys?
Yeah,
Good,
very
thanks.
good.
How's the ponytail?
Myself good, man.
Still there?
It's still here, man. It's still alive and kicking.
I haven't seen the ponytail yet.
You're not missing much.
So, anyway, I've got a question for you, Rashid.
Okay.
You want to hear it? It's what I've got for you. It's more of a challenge. How about me and you, we go head to head. If you beat me, I'll cut my hair for a charity that you used to pay for.
Good challenge.
Great challenge.
And then my question, one for Chris and Emily, what should Rashid's forfeit be if I go? For the third time in a row, I might, add.
Hang on a second, let's get straight. Third time in a row, I have no sight in my right eye at the moment. Both times I've played this, I have not been able to see. And both times have been in consolation matches that count for thing. We've already established earlier on in the show that I am the greatest of all time.
I hear
have 20
excuses.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
you know.
All right, bring it, fine, bring it. I'll play you anytime, any place. I'll play you.
Okay, Emily, what should the
I
forfeit
don't
be?
want you know, moaning about your eyes.
What should the forfeit, Rashid?
I think the forfeit should be that Rashid has to sit through an entire tournament of women's tennis.
I'll tell you what, Elliot. Here's what I think.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. I know Rashid will be very confident, and I know, I know he'll be happy to put most things on the line. But I happen to. He's getting a new car, so I reckon if it's you cut your ponytail. If you beat him, he'll lend you his car for the day. It's a rather tasty Porsche, I think.
Good, I'm up for that.
There you go. Sounds like we got a deal. Hey, you're the GOAT.
Let's do it. I'm not losing to this guy. I'm going to watch you. You know what? There's no charity business here. The money doesn't go to charity. The money raised goes to, I don't know, let's have a look. For me to put blue neon light in my car. And every time I drive around, I'm going to have a honk tone on, with horns. It goes, I'm going to drive through Kent for a month playing that. And also, I'm cutting it off. Not some hairdresser, not some Trevor Sorbet business. This, I'm in Kent, know what I mean? I'm just going to go down to the local Trevor Sorbet and get a nice little blue rinse in a wave. It's going to get done by me, Gov. Like that.
I like to have the scissors on there, you just give it the chop.
Yeah.
So when's the challenge?
I like it. And we could have it, I don't know, you could live stream it. I don't know if many people want to watch it, though. But,
We can stream it. If you come to my house on a Sunday morning, we can live stream it.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good, man.
Brilliant.
Right,
Brilliant.
it's a deal. One other thing we wanted to ask you.
Go ahead.
It's a kind of a simple question. It's not really so much a challenge. We want to ask you, how does it feel getting thumped every time you turn up to tournament?
Fun. Well, I'll tell you what.
Fun.
Ian
Good answer.
didn't thump me, did he?
Eaton crushed you.
It was, what was it? I know there's a tie break on the second set.
Right.
Yeah, no,
it's not like crushing.
Elliot Seabrook's got some game. He's got some game. I think you have your hands full.
Hey, one-eyed, he beat me 6-3. And, he's going to, when his hair's on, he's going to struggle.
To be honest, you shouldn't have paid so much for your car. You should have bought another eye. That's what I reckon.
Teach me a lesson. But Elliot, apart from the thumping that you keep getting, you're one of our classic journeymen. You turn up to a lot of tournaments and you get hated, and you go home with a smile on your face. It's nice to see.
I didn't want to be. I've been unfairly drafted into the journeyman group. That's not true. I've won every playback. That's got to count for something.
You've won every consolation tournament. Wow. So we're all going to give you a round of applause. Come on, guys, give him a round of applause.
You know what? This is what makes touch tennis. People come and people have a great time.
Yeah.
So, I think Elliot Seabrook's a real good ambassador.
Absolutely.
So Elliot, we want to have some witnesses at this. At the moment, we're trying to focus our cameras on a little play out that might occur around the Kent Reach between two individuals when they go head to head. We'll give you more on that in a couple of weeks. We'll win over text.
Right.
Thanks for calling in, Elliot. Really appreciate your call.
Take care.
You're welcome, guys.
Cheers. Bye. That's Elliot Seabrook again. I mean, he's pretty manly to have come on, called the abuse he's taken from us for 6 weeks running.
Yeah.
He must be starting to
And
get...
put a challenge out there.
Yeah, I like that. He's
I've got someone who actually wants to call in that I'm going to have to give number to, if you bear with me just a second.
That's okay. That's okay. So yes, no, it'll be an interesting match. I reckon we should have it. Live streamed in the morning.
With us commentating.
Yeah, with some commentary, and then maybe the official ceremony in the evening. So either the ceremonial thing of the hair.
Yeah.
Or the handing over of the car keys. I think we can have that.
May have to turn the sound to the level of banter.
Look, I mean, I have been nuts to getting people's heads, and I think that's all part of the game. I think if you can't take that, you should not be playing.
Yeah. What do you think about mind games in in men's at the moment, and the lack of it. Because I heard Johnny Mack speaking, and certainly first when Rafa came on the scene, he was saying, why don't people walk past and kick his bottles over and things like that? Because Rafa's really OCD. Yeah. What do you think about all this respect that's going around? I mean, would you ever consider doing that to an opponent, Emily? Sort of really, just trying to wind them up.
No, I think there's enough in this game as it is. I think it's there's a fair few more mind games in the women's than there is in the men's.
You're really good at wine games. You play those.
I'm great at wine games.
Awesome.
I think it's interesting that Rashid's hero is Federer. He is extremely respectful and the greatest example you could get of
yeah, but I mention I don't mention who my real hero is most of the time because you guys are too young to remember him. My real is Connors.
Yeah.
107 titles.
Far more how you are like on the tennis court.
Yeah.
Or tennis court, in fact. A few times that you...
No, on the tennis court I'm much more like Federer.
Play.
I'm much better on the tennis court because I just let my racket do the talking. But at touch tennis it's more about...
As the ball hits the fence.
Yeah, it does the talking. Woo, 4! Yeah, just use Wolfism there to go in line with that little muppet who went away to America for a couple of weeks. But yeah, you're saying you think that that's something aspirational would be mine on how these people should play. I disagree. I mean, look, I think that I missed what I call the golden era of tennis was 95 to 2005. It isn't now. This is metronomic, boring tennis.
I'm disagreeing.
And there's more errors, and I reckon if you look at more errors now than there are winners. Because the balls are so damn heavy. If Federer is hitting the ball 100 miles per hour down the line on a forehand and he didn't win the point, he's hitting 80 miles per hour.
Yeah, but if you look at how much quicker the guys have got as well over the last, how everybody has improved and how the standards have improved.
There's an element of that, but the balls are too heavy, the courts are uniform. There are no fast courts.
I would agree with the courts and the balls. But in terms of how they're played, I think because the overall standard has increased from everybody, I think then that creates longer rallies, and I don't think it's necessarily to do with the fact that it's been slowed down.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for me because I remember watching the Open semis this year. Was it Djokovic and Nadal? Yeah, a massive grind of a match, and
Djokovic and Nadal played in the final this year.
Okay,
and he almost killed him. Remember, it was 6 hours.
Yeah, so I remember watching Djokovic and Nadal and just think, obviously I played to a good level, and I know a big forehand when I see one. Rafa's is the biggest forehand that I've ever seen, in terms of work, in terms of what he can do with it.
Yeah,
and he's just getting no change.
Yeah,
no change. Failing, 10, 20 forehands a rally.
Yeah, I think you've got to look at how good Djokovic is.
Yeah, but you put that
because of that.
You put that on a. What I would consider lively conditions. It's hot there, so the ball should be flying, and it's just quite. I've obviously you've played with them, and I've played with those Aussie Open balls. They die pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And these guys, which ball's dying at 7 and 9 ball change with 6 balls in play.
Yeah.
That's kind of giving you an idea of sort of what what's going on. I just think, I think he should be getting more, more love from that forehand, really. And
I think this caller online
agrees.
Bear with me a second. Yeah, I think it's crazy at the moment. The game has just got too slow.
But I mean, I guess it's open for debate, and we had quite a long debate the other night about what can you do about it. I mean, what would you like doing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a thing of the balls and the courts and everything else like that changing. I know on the guys' tour, the courts are pretty uniform, apart from Paris, which is the one which obviously gives you other results flying around as opposed to the rest of the year.
Yeah.
The guys that do well at Paris are always the same guys who've done well the whole year. Is that because it's at the end of the year and everyone is shattered? I'm not sure. but the courts are a great deal quicker there than anywhere else.
But I mean, historically, there was also Madrid before that, when Nalbandian, for example, 2007 had that run where Nadal, love and 3, then beat Federer, and then the next week did the same again. The guys were tired, but they managed their condition well enough to then go to the Masters, in those days, which was Lisbon and then wherever it was before, Shanghai, and then they came here. You were able to play well there, and Nalbandian, had he qualified, probably would have beaten all those courts last.
Yeah.
Burdick did well there, beat Nadal there. It's just not them anymore, and these were the top guys playing for those titles. It's just not the same.
It is a shame. I tell you what, it's a shame they took Madrid out.
Yeah.
Because Madrid's at altitude as well, which makes it even faster.
Yeah.
Obviously, altitude balls fly through the air a little bit quicker.
That's great.
I love it.
We
But,
both loved altitude.
but that's kind of, that's another variation that's not really around. I know the ATP are trying to do something about it because they're using the no-let rule on the guys' tour. Is that right?
Yeah, for the first 3 months of the year in challenges. But they already do that in college tennis in the States, basically because the guys seat, because they're calling their own lines, and therefore if somebody hits a big serve, then they just call a let.
Yeah.
I don't agree with them doing the let rule in our tennis. I think it's ridiculous.
Why?
Well, you get rewarded for luck of the ball dribbling over the net and not bouncing.
Why don't you just run and go get it?
Because you'd be quick enough, would you?
I've been playing that rule for 3 years in touch tennis. I've always believed no let, so I always make it. I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41 next year. I always make it.
Yeah, well, you're playing on a court that's not very big.
Yeah.
I would the difference.
I would agree with Emily. I don't think there's enough lets in a match for it to make a difference.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that it's basically the last thing I want to see, especially at Wimbledon, because the nets are loose at Wimbledon, so when the ball hits it, it kind of tends
Aussie,
to
when it pops up and it's there to be hit, then okay.
But you can see, you can see it happening. You can see sort of, just throwing it. No, you can see sort of Murray serving for the match.
Yeah.
Huge point.
Yeah.
And chickening out of a second serve. And as you do as a player, you know how it feels. You can't get there and you just bail out. And it, as a bad serve, it hits the net, drops over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he basically, gets rewarded for, chickening out.
Instead of someone who's going for it on a big first serve and it's hit the net and come out another chance at a massive first serve, so you get rewarded for being braver, and the servers are going to get rewarded for it.
I don't remember, you're probably too young, but I remember a match between Krajcak and Goran Ivanisevic that was played on that went 15-13 in the fifth quarterfinals of 1998.
How's your memory?
Encyclopedia.
And 40-15 up at 7 in the fifth. Goran goes clean ace, left, and he's laughing because he thinks, well, it was that far over the net. He doesn't want to touch it, but they're like, whatever. And Krajcek sort of laughs as well, goes back up to return, and he goes to 5. And Goran wins in the end because that was the year he made the final to play Sampras for the third time in a final. The third final he made, 92, 94, and 98, and then he made it in 2001 when he won it. But that year he should have been, Krajcek, should have been out.
Yeah.
And instead it ended up going 15-13 because one.
Yeah, it's match changing, and tennis is all about tiny little margins. And I think that, rules are great as they are. I think it's a great sport. I don't think they need to mess around with the rules. Perhaps only with the time taken in between points.
Chris and I were talking about this and having a buzzer that actually just beeping and going nuts, going if you haven't served on time and you've got to play through that.
Having said that, with how physical it is now, I think the guys also have that little bit of respect for how hard they're working in those points. But it tends to be across the board.
See, I disagree with that. I think you really get to see. I mean, this is obviously a pretty out there idea, but I think you really get to see the brilliance of these players. They've had a 50-shot rally.
And
they get 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then, you've got Andy Murray, who's so amazingly gifted. He's absolutely shattered. Better rally against Djokovic, and you see him going a bit bigger on his second serve, and then you see them have a three-shot rally, and Andy's just like, I don't want anything to do with this. So he's coming up with crazy shots and something.
The tiredness definitely comes into it, but I think
trying to wail like winners.
You'd see who recovers best, which is interesting. Fed was hardly breathing the other night after a couple of very, very long points, and it's underestimated how fit these guys are.
No. I have to go through. We've got one last one, which is an American number that we need to call. Find out what this is about. Let's see if we can hear who this is. No, we don't want that. We want time to call speaker.
An American number?
Yeah. Hello?
Hi,
Hi, you're live on the Touch Tennis Show. Who's that?
Danica.
Hi, Danica. How you doing?
Hi. How are you?
Well, thanks. You know Emily and you know Chris as well.
Hey, Nix.
Yeah.
Hi, I thought I recognised that number.
So we were talking about whether or not women should play tennis. No, I won't. We didn't say that.
Nix, I need some help.
We were talking in general about tennis and whether or not they should mess with the rules. Is that calling about, or have you got a specific question?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. Have you got a question for Chris or for Emily?
Yeah, just for everyone really. Going back to the match when serving, obviously I play college tennis and on the men's side they carry on when the ball hits the net. So do you think that would ever transition into the ATP, or is that a shit? Or what do you think?
Well,
it has done for the Challenger tour.
Yeah, they always...
They're trying it at our level. And
Are they now?
Yeah, for the first 3 months of the year. But just the guys and just at Challengers.
Yeah, they always seem to try things out and
see if it works.
Yeah, see if it works. But I think I don't think too much of a difference. I don't think there's that many. But I think we said when they tried out doubles being sudden death deuce and super.
That stuck. Yeah.
And everybody said, oh, that's a bit random. We don't like that. But it's
still
stuck.
Here,
it's actually a pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
Do you think it would be better for them watching the matches though live? Do you think it'll make it more interesting or not?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it doesn't really speed it. There's not enough lets in a match for it to speed it up to that extent. I think if you want to speed it up, then you need to do something about the time.
No, I mean I disagree I disagree. I think you should play no lets, and I think I'd love to see a match headed by someone gagging and hitting a second serve that hits the tape and dribbles, and the guy just jumping to the umpire and going, "Justice!" like that. And make it fun. It's just so dull. They got times when Federer goes, "Hey Novak, you're the best. Well done." Well, what? Punch him in the face. Show him up.
It's their job.
I don't think you'll be saying that if that was you on the other end.
Well, you know what? One day I'll be remembered like Federer. Trust me. In the years, enough people are stupid enough to think I actually won those majors. One day they'll actually think that guy was really good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the let to me seems like a bit of a bailout for the ATP. It's like
they just want to look like they're doing
something. It's a token effort to change them.
It's let's look like we're doing something, but actually we know that there aren't very many matches, and this won't make much of a difference.
Yeah.
Danica, where are you in America at the moment?
Florida, Tallahassee.
Okay, and you're studying you're doing a degree in sports management, and you go out there and it's a scholar something and you play tennis at the same time.
Yeah, basically I get a degree at the same time.
That's an unbelievable life.
And
that really is.
Somebody told me you've been playing pretty gigs.
Yes, I am.
But I broke your backhand down cross court.
Well, we haven't actually tried that yet, Regine.
We did. We played on my touch tennis court. I broke your backhand down. I remember that.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't wearing any tennis clothes.
Neither was I.
Yes, you were.
I'm glad you chucked in tennis there.
Your little headbands and everything.
Need to give up.
Yeah, you're never going to win this argument.
He doesn't lose arguments.
I'll just chuck some random facts at you and make you actually them. And if you're watching, just look at that. That's the GOAT. Touch tennis. That there. You don't have one of those. But listen, Danica, thanks for calling in. If you've got any other comments to make, please feel free to tweet them in next week. And we'll be back at normal time on Sunday. At 9 Sunday, as I said, there were some massive issues technically, and it's actually my fault. I'm going to blame her because why not? We've just spent the whole evening picking at her.
You
And
may
she's been
as well.
great games, taken a lot of abuse, and so we appreciate you coming on. We know it was brave for you to do it. One last thing, you go.
Uh-oh. Yeah. I missed that look.
You guys didn't
You
see
know.
that. A twinkle in his eye that this is not going to be enjoyable for Emily.
I want to talk to you about the match that you just before you flew to Copenhagen against me. That must be what hurts the most, right?
Yeah, it just kills me. In fact, I lay awake thinking about that and what I could have done differently.
We played a champions tiebreak at the NTC on grass. Would you like to tell the viewers how good my backhand volley was on a full-size tennis court?
It was nominal backhand volley. It will remain in history as one of the best shots you've ever hit.
Probably about the only shot that I've ever hit in court, but
as it was the only point that you won in that tiebreak. I don't hook. I did not hook.
Can we just clarify one thing happened? I played a champions tiebreak with her once indoors and once on grass, and I asked her recently. I said, "So, how hard were you hitting the ball?" And she said, "Oh, about 5%." I said, "Oh, come on, be serious," and because that broke when she said that. And, not that I'm very egotistical, but it hurt. She said, "Oh, about 25%." It makes you realise that someone who played just at club level, these people go through. Our British tennis players and every other aspiring player, they must go through to be able to contort their body to hit the ball hard as they do. At 25%, it was pinging the racket out of my hand, and I couldn't feel elbow for a week afterwards. Imagine what it's like doing that every day of your life, 350 days of the year, pretty much, and maybe the odd day here and there when you're not, because you're on an aeroplane in economy with a baby crying next to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, 6 surgeries later.
Yeah.
If you take it like that, I think that's a fair point.
Are they any bigger? Oh, sorry, not those. We weren't meant to discuss those surgeries. Sorry.
Is it before the curfew? You're allowed to
Yeah,
say that?
it's closing in on the curfew.
Yeah.
I was the biceps.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Biceps. Are they any bigger?
I have no further comment.
Yeah, good. Well, that would be my last comment. Chris, thanks again for being with us.
No, it's
Appreciate
always
it
a
for the
pleasure.
time.
It's always a
And
pleasure.
we will see you on Sunday, hopefully. Tune in then, and we'll catch you in about 5 days. Thanks again, guys. Thanks, Emily. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Cheers. See you later.